It's still the Friday edition of the show, and you know quite well that it's a show that ushers you into the weekend. So it's more of an entertainment, edition of the show. But that doesn't mean we won't talk money, especially the personal finance segments with Charles Fakora, who is here with us to take us through the series of money disorder. We started that series on Monday, and we'll be wrapping it up today with the treatment of money disorder. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning, Samson.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Morning, Margaret.
Yes.
We started the signs and symptoms. Yes, it is. It is. We started the signs and symptoms. So we're looking at the treatment. I'm sure those who watched over the course of Monday are aware that probably I have one or two signs of not making use of money well. So what are the treatment? But just for the sake of those who did not watch those series or segments, can you quickly, in probably a minute or two, just run us through those signs and symptoms of money disorder?
Yes, we should not make the mistake of saying because you show those signs one or two times, then that means you already have a money disorder. We've said financial denial. Yes. We've said financial rejection. We've said workaholic, working so hard. Then we also saw financial infidelity. And so many
extreme underspending,
underspending, and all that. These are some of the signs and symptoms of money disorder. But before you can say you've been diagnosed, of course, those activities, those signs and symptoms must have been affecting your performance, your relationship over time, and those actions or behavior need to be recurrent. Okay. Consistent over a period of time, because those are the kind of questions the therapist will ask you, then for them to now conclude that yes, probably this is what you have, But again, even after all that, we've not confirmed that yes, that money disorder in itself is a disease. There could be some underlying mental issues that's making you manifesting that way. Psychologists and psychiatrists have a way of diagnosing a disorder, and they have what they call disorder statistical manual. That behavior, you can't explain it, and it's like a phobia. It must be that phobia that is making you behave that way. It's irrational. It cannot be explained, and maybe over a period of time. Like, I'll give an example. You've been duped before, MMM. Another scheme comes again, you are there. You are duped. Another, you can see that it is recurrent. So, we can pardon you. Maybe the first time, second time. These are money mistakes. But not when it has gone beyond just mistake. That's why we now say it is a money disorder.
Right, now let's differentiate the disorder from greed, because some of those persons who have been duped is as a result of greed. Probably the MMM you mentioned, probably someone put in money and had gotten more than what he or she. I put in 1 million, for instance, I got 1.5 million, and then I'm like, okay, so I cannot put 3 million, I get 3.5. I didn't stop there, and then I put all my savings into it, and I'm duped. And the next one, I have, because I know I will get some dividend. I won't stop at that. I will still want to put everything. Is that a result of, is greed and money disorder hand in gloves, or they are different?
They are two different. You have said it. Greed. Let's say the person puts 100,000 the first time, he got 200,000, and he saw it. He now went to put everything, and he was duped. That's an experience of it. We'll say that's a money mistake. Now, another scheme, these guys, they come again. He puts in, knowing fully well that the first time he got money, the second time he was, he was capped, and he continues like that again. That means he has not even learned from that first mistake. And I still see many of those schemes still tomorrow, and I'm wondering why people still, and people will put in their money, say, oh, I just got my credit alert, and they even post it. Before you do what again, what will happen?
It falls out.
It falls out. So it becomes recurring. And probably you have a relationship, maybe your spouse is affecting that relationship. It's also affecting your performance in the work. over a period of time, then of course, therapists, financial therapists would not say, obviously, this is an issue of a money disorder.
Okay, so let's look at the treatment now. You know, for all of these signs and symptoms, how can folks involved or diagnosed of these disorders, you know, get out of them?
Yes, I also want to say again that we should not be looking at it as, you know, somebody who is mad.
No.
Like I have said, just like malaria, just like hypertension, just like diabetic, you know, once you have been diagnosed. But those who are already having these symptoms, they're even ashamed to come out to speak. And like you have said, these people that are close to them that will notice some of these signs and tell them. Just like you tell a mentally challenged person that you are mad, he or she will tell you are the one that is mad. Okay? So we are saying it is not a stigma. They should not be afraid. Seek help. And these helps are available. The first treatment, but before I go into that first treatment, let's take a quote.
Okay.
Money is neither my God nor my devil. It is simply energy that makes you more of who you are, whether it is greed or loving. So, money does not make who you are. It only exposes who you really are. So, coming to treatment of money disorder, the first one is, of course, you can read some books, self-help books. Yes, written, of course, by psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, as the case may be. You read, they will tell you the things that you need to. If you are that person that you are just afraid, financial denial, to talk about it, they will tell you gradually, you know, gradually. But what is behind all this treatment is what psychologists will call CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. So you can say that we're not going to prescribe any drug. It's going to be behavioral therapy. Cognition, they're trying to change your thinking because your thinking controls your behavior. So if they're able to change that your thinking, cognitive behavioral, then the therapy, then gradually you begin to, if it is your bill, you can begin to look at your bill. You can go to your bank and say you want to see your bank statement. You know, it's not a one-off affair. Gradually, that is what those self-help books will do for you. You can also see a psychologist. Yes, and like I said, if you go to our mental institutions today, they have a unit where you book appointments that you want to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Most of the time it's clinical psychologists, and they are there. In fact, somebody was telling us an experience that she was having some kind of issues, and the doctor that saw her in the regular hospital recommended that she go see a psychologist, clinical. And when she got there, it was so funny to her that the clinical psychologist was just a very young lady that happens to be a junior somewhere, you know. But she was surprised that the kind of questions she asked her, you know, really revealed so many things. So for a financial therapist or a psychologist who has done the training on financial therapy, yes, there are questions they will ask you. Now, let me just ask you one or two of those questions. They will say, do you have a plan to retire in comfort? Have you planned for your children's university education? Do you own a house? Do you avoid major credit purchases? Have you written a will? So these are certain questions that they will ask you. So based on the answers you give, at the end of the day, they'll be able to now advise you. That is when you are seeing the psychologist, clinical psychologist. Then you can also see a financial planner, as the case may be. Now, the financial planner basically looks at your balance sheets. You know, everybody has their own personal balance sheets.
Yes.
Everybody has their own personal income statement. Everybody has their own personal cash flow. So it looks at all that, asks you questions. Then for your budget, you also look at your budget. Of course, most of us don't use the word budget. We use the word plan spending. and it will tell you, okay, these areas, these are where you can cut down costs, because there are fixed expenses. There is nothing you can do. You want to come to work, if you are coming from Mowe or whatever, you must commute to this place on a daily basis. So these are fixed expenses. And of course, if on a rainy day, if you wake up and you want to come here, where you used to pay 200 naira can go up to 500, you don't have a choice. But there are other variable expenditures that those are where you can reduce. So these are the things the financial planner looks at and tell you, yes, you can do all these things. But again, we have come to notice, based on research, that it is when the person makes up his or her mind, that is when therapy usually will work.
Okay.
Look at drug therapists. After everything, they even go for rehab. But what happens? They relapse. We also advise them again in terms of this treatment. There are people who have similar issues with you.
Yes.
Not like alcoholics. You know, there's a number. So if you are tempted to show those behavior or you want to act that way, there's a number you can also call. And you'll be encouraged. This is trying to motivate each other not to begin to manifest those kind of symptoms. Okay. Then you can also see a psychiatrist. Okay. Yes, you can also see a psychiatrist. But we want to say that people should not go take drugs.
Okay.
Because the brain secretes some chemicals. Happiness. They call them happiness hormone or chemicals. Dopamine, oxytocin, endorphin. And that's why it's difficult to treat people with drug issues. So, but for money disorder, we have not gotten to that level where
yes,
they begin to recommend drugs for you that will give you those kind of feelings. You can also do what we call integrated planning. That is, after you have seen a psychologist, you see a financial planner, then with your spouse, if you are married, two of you can hold yourself responsible and say, these are the things I want to be doing. And over time, then maybe after 2 or 3 months, you are expected to go back to see your therapist to see whether there is improvement in it. Don't be discouraged if at first you still go back to those kind of behavior. You will continue again. And
with time,
well, some persons will also tell you there's also the G factor in it. That is because even clinical psychologists, doctors will tell you they don't heal, they only treat.
God heals.
God heals. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite expository. But you know, aside the use of visiting a psychiatrist or a psychologist and all of that, you made mention something very important, which is all of these means of treatments will not be effective unless the individual makes up his or her mind and is willing, to go through those treatments to be whole. Now, sometimes, in the process of doing this, we've seen multiple, relapses over time,
of course,
where people probably have 10, 15 stints of rehab and it looks like nothing is going, the rate of being broken differs from one individual to another.
Exactly.
So as a financial coach, stockbroker and all of that, where does the place of the support cast come in for an individual that has several or multiple treatments in terms of business, psychiatrist, financial coach and all of that, and is still showing signs of money disorder?
Yes, especially those ones who have gone for the money rehab, because that is the extreme case. Like I said, they also have numbers that those psychiatrists will give to you. So people who have similar issues, that's the support. So if you want to relapse, they are advised to call those numbers. Not like those who are suffering from alcoholism. They have a number that they will call, and that person there is also suffering from the same thing with you. You will encourage each other. Then also mention of your spouse, especially those who are married. Your spouse, whether the man or the woman, plays a major role in ensuring that you get that treatment and you don't relapse.
Okay.
Yes, we might not notice it because your spouse is very, very important in terms of, and that's why we say one of the symptoms is financial infidelity. Just like you have infidelity in marriages, you also have that financial infidelity. Why will you tell lies to your spouse about your finances? Some people take loans without their spouse being aware. Some people have investment without their spouse being aware. And you begin to wonder. So if you want to really get that treatment, you must be open to your spouse. That should be nothing like financial infidelity. Okay. We're not saying have joint account with your spouse. No. Because I always believe that there is nothing like Mr. and Mrs. Charles. There is nothing like that.
For the law, yes.
Yes, there's nothing like that. So Mr. Charles will go his way in the daytime. Mrs. Charles will go away in the daytime. Then in the night, two of them can reconnect again and become one. You know? So for those of us who believe in joint account, there is nothing wrong with that. You can have a joint account. But if it's not comfortable, but let your spouse be aware of any financial transaction you are doing. It's as simple as that. You know, it's just like if you do some transaction, your spouse is not aware. It's like you are keeping a side chick somewhere. And if you want to be truthful to herself, you know, you are not expected as a married person to keep a side chick. So financial infidelity is one of the major problems. Because when crisis starts, you will not be so comfortable to explain to her, to open up to him. Because in fact, that one is so funny. We have seen so many couples, whether from the male or for the female. My husband is not aware of this. So, and in fact, there is a particular case that we even had, very funny, that the husband said he was going to kill that stockbroker. Are you having an affair with my wife? Because she did a lot of investment with this stockbroking firm, with this stockbroker. And the man is not aware. You know, you only got to know when he used to send this dividend warrant. And probably it was the person that went to their post office that day and now saw that and picked it and saw, you know, he opened it, saw the wife, opened it and saw the amount that was there. And he was surprised. I said, so this woman has this kind of investment, you know, and confronted her. In fact, it became a marital issue. Confronted her, and she was trying to say, and say, okay, who is this your stockbroker? I want to know him. And of course, the broker is innocent, doesn't know anything. And the man even came to the office and threatened to harm some of them and all that. But of course, they stood their ground and said, this is a family matter. And that is why some stockbrokers decided to say, okay, we'll be having these kind of issues. When you deal with people in terms of their finances, you are seeing that family issues comes into. So most of us had to go and begin to become marriage counselors. And that was where we started to do financial therapy. So you're not only treating the person in terms of their money, you're also looking at other aspects of their life. So it's like an accidental profession most of us got into to do our job properly.
Okay. All right, well, that's a nice place to wrap this segment up. Thank you so much, Charles Fakwa. I must say it's been...
Let's close with a quote now.
Okay. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
Yes. Money is like manure. If you don't spread it, it will smell. It will smell.
Thank you so much, Charles Fakwa.
Thank you very much.
Well, money is like manure. If you don't spread it, it would smell. That's a quote from Charles Fakwa. We'll take a short break now. More interesting segments on iBrandTV this morning. Stay with us.